my daughter Journey, I missed the entire first year of her life. Missed it meaning I thought I had more time. I thought that time was on my side. I thought that, I'll be able to make this up. And the reason why I missed it is because during the first year of her life, all I did was work all day, like literally all day. I worked as if I didn't have a kid. And I remember moments when my wife would tell me, she was my girlfriend then, my wife now, she would tell me like, Germ, you're missing her life. You don't see it. At the time, I was just so focused, so locked in and saying, you know what? I got to get it. I got to get it. I got to get it. And I think back and I ask myself, like, I don't remember having that moment of, oh man, baby girl is crawling now. Welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show. I'm the man with the plan, Jeremy Mathis.
I'm Joshua. I'm going to give you the game, Mathis, and welcome to another episode of the Expose and Expand podcast show, where we expose you to the ideas, the strategies, the struggles, the failures, the people, and the experiences that have gotten us from zero to millions.
So I want to apologize up front, guys, because this may be a very emotional episode. We're talking about a huge struggle and the current challenge that Josh and I have been going through literally for, I would say, at least the last 7 years. And the way that we came up with this topic was in our production meeting. Over the weekend, we had a great time with our family, and we started to just reminisce, and we started to talk about, we wish we could do that more. And it eventually led us to what we're going to talk about today, which is the challenges of parenting a business and parenting children. And this is something that we want to share with you guys because, like I said, this is an ongoing struggle, an ongoing challenge, and we're trying to figure it out. And we said that we want to expose you guys from what got us from zero to millions, but this is something that we're currently facing, and we want to share that with you guys. So just get ready to go on this roller coaster ride with us.
I don't know why you apologizing. We about to set a lot of people free. We about to get some good games. I don't know what you apologizing
I
for.
apologize for being emotional, man, because I know, man, for me, this, when we said that when we made the decision that we were going to talk about this, I was happy because I think for me it'd be therapeutic, but I also think, like you said, it's going to help set people free as well. So let's get into it.
Did you tell them what we was going to talk about?
Yeah, I said the challenges of parenting a business and parenting children. You could tell you ain't listening.
No, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure the people know because, like you said, this is an episode that I'm excited about. And when we were talking about it in our production meeting, I was thinking about it deeply, and then I obviously jumped back into work. And then the other night when I was driving home, I was thinking about it and just asking myself, like, man, like, we've been doing this a long time. You said 7. It's really been like 9, 10 years because remember with Malia, I met Malia when she was, 2 years old, almost going on 3. And it's been a constant struggle for me. Ava asked me literally a week and a half ago, and she just came to me and she was like, Dad, you work a lot. You don't never spend time with me. And for me, it broke my heart because it's just like she's young and I know she doesn't get it on why we work so hard. But then on the opposite side of it, sometimes I feel bad because it's like, damn, like, am I not that good dad that I really say I am or think that I am? So that was like a big struggle for me. And that's not the first time that we've had that conversation. She's came to me several other times as well.
How did that make you feel when she came to you and told you she feels like you work too much and you don't spend enough time with her?
You ain't listening to nothing I just said, huh? Now, like I just said, it was just, it's hurtful. I feel devastated because I tell myself I'm a great dad and I think that I'm a great dad, but when your child comes and tells you that, you start asking yourself like, damn, am I really all this, that good of a dad as I think that I am? So for me, it really broke my heart. I cried the queen that night. Because the other time she said it was more so in a joking manner, or it was more so I'm leaving the house and she's like, oh, Dad, you just work too much. I'm like, I hear what she's saying, but I ain't here. But for us to be sitting there chilling and she comes to me and she was like, Daddy, I think you work too much. Like, that's something that she's thinking about. So she's expressing to me how she truly feels. And like when she said it, like I kept it together, but right after that, I broke down because it's just like, damn, like it hurt it.
Now I go through the same thing with Journey. Journey's 5 now, and for me, here I am. I'm thinking that I'm being the best dad that I could possibly be to her, because the way that my routine is set up is I wake up in the morning, do my devotion, go to the gym, and then I come home. I wake them up, and my wife, as she just packs their lunch, but I have the fortune and opportunity to get them ready for school, putting their clothes on, eating breakfast with them, taking them, driving them to school, and that affords me the opportunity to spend like an hour and a half with them at the beginning of the day. So that's what I do at the beginning of the day. Then at the end of the day, I usually leave the office, depending on the day, between 6 and 7 o'clock, and I get home and I'm able to spend another 2 hours with them. So to me, I'm calculating time. I'm spending 3.5 hours with them out of 24 hours. That should be enough time in my mind. Also on the weekends, I work half a day on Saturday and Sunday. Then I spend time with them, with the kids, and I'm thinking, man, I'm giving them a lot of time. And then Journey, out of the blue, for the last couple of months, she's come to me, Daddy, play with me. You never play with me. You never spend time with me. And I'm thinking in my mind, confused, like, baby, I literally like been calculating how much time I spend with you guys, just trying to figure out how I divided my time, making sure that I have the best use of my time and going to the right places. How can you say I don't spend time with you? I ain't asked for that, but I'm thinking this to myself. So I go to Ash and I'm like, man, just like you, felt devastated and hurt. Like, man, how could she say that? Like, where is that even coming from? I feel like I spend a lot of time with her. I feel like I spend more time with her than other people spend with their kids. And I'm still actually confused on that and why she feels that way. And that's something that's been a struggle for me the last couple of months of how do I give her more time, but still parent the business that still needs us so that I can provide for her. And that's something that I'm really struggling with and having all the challenges with.
It's a lot to unpack there. The first thing I want to say is, I commend you. You say I get the fortunate opportunity to take them to school. Like, I think you got to be intentional about how you use your time. So for you to say I'm fortunate, like most people don't think about it that way. They look at doing things for their kids as a burden. Like, man, I got to get them up and take them to school. Most people think of it as a burden, and I used to be the same way. So that's one thing. The second thing that I wanted to bring up on what you said was, you said, oh, I'm spending 3 to 4 hours with them. Like, why do you even think that was enough time?
For me, because you think about it, they're in school 8 hours. You sleep another 8 hours. That's 16 right there. And then you got another 8 hours. I'm spending, out of your other free time, I'm spending 3 hours with you, 3.5 hours with you. That's like 4.5 hours that I'm not spending time with you. So for me, that's what I thought was an adequate amount, enough time. And do I wish I can spend more time with my kids? Of course. I truly wish that I could be a husband and stay at home. I don't really mean that, but sometimes I do think about that because I do want to spend more time with them as opposed to always chasing my dream. So I just always thought that was enough time in my mind. Because going deep into the question, I'm comparing myself to others.
And that was going to be the next point I wanted to make, because you was like, yeah, compared to other people, I'm spending enough time, and like I just wanted to dissect that a little bit. Like, why do you even feel like, or like comparing yourself to other people when it comes to spending time with the kids?
It's not necessarily comparing, but I'm just looking at what I have going on in my life, because one of the things that I'm a firm believer in is that the kids came into my life and they have to fit into my life. So often people live their life making their life about their kids. And I don't believe in that. I believe that they need to fit into my life, but I also need to give them the time that they need, which is the struggle and the challenge that I'm going through right now. So it's not necessarily comparing myself to other people, but it's just really looking at the societal norms. That's exactly what I did. Look at the societal norms and say, you know what? I'm spending at least 3.5 hours a day with my kids Monday through Friday, and then I cut back on work on Saturdays as opposed to working all day on Saturdays. I work a couple hours on Saturdays and I spend time with them so they get time there. And then on Sundays, go to church, spend some time with them, and then go to work. So I'm like, man, in my mind, that's enough. But baby girl Journey, she was like, nah, man, like, Daddy, I want to spend more time with you. And this is, like I said, it's been a struggle the last couple of months for me, like a big struggle to the point where I've lost focus at work. Me and Ash have gotten into it a little bit because I'm starting to make sure that when I'm around them, I'm spending a lot of time with Journey so she doesn't feel left out, which is started to, I wouldn't even say create any any chaos in the house because it hasn't, but it's starting. I've shift my focus to Journey as opposed to Ace and Ash. So
Gotcha. That was good, really deep. From a business perspective, though, I kind of wanted to turn it like change lanes a little bit because I want people to understand that it's a struggle on both sides, right? It's a struggle on the front side where it's hard for us to spend the time that we want with the kids, but then the business also suffers as well because we want to make sure that we're good to have. So the time that we want to spend, those extra hours we want to spend working on the business, we have to be home and be present. Like, what is your thoughts on that?
hey, for me, like I have to figure out a way that I can say this, but I look at people without kids and I feel as though they are not super blessed because I am blessed to have kids that are happy and healthy. But from a business standpoint, they're super blessed because they get to give all of their parenting time, if you will, to that kid, which is the business. They don't have to make that sacrifice that you have to make where I want to work. If I could work, I'd work 16, 17, 18, 19 hours a day. But I'm not able to do that because I want to be home for my kids. Yeah. So now I won't say the business struggles because of that, but for a lack of better words, the business struggles because of that, because we're at a point where we are working to grow the education company, where we're working to grow the real estate investment firm. We're working to grow this podcast show. We're working to grow other things that we have going on, but you only have so much time in a day. And you got to really manage your time well and really make sacrifices. And those sacrifices are very difficult. When I'm in the office and I'm like, man, can I work late tonight? I want to work late tonight, but then, damn, I don't want to hear baby girl say, hey, daddy, you're not spending time with me.
That's crazy, like to hear that. So I be having the same thoughts as well because as we both know, like we're busy, we got a lot going on, and I'm having those moments where it's just like, yeah, I want to work late tonight, and then you tell yourself you're gonna do it, and you start doing it. 20 minutes in, you're not even doing the work because you're like, your mind is processing being home. Your mind is thinking about what is Ava going to think. Like in the morning, she gonna be upset at me because it's times that I've done it in the past where I stayed here and I worked late, and then the next morning, because she'll tell me, hey dad, I want to make sure you read me a story tonight, or hey dad, I want to make sure we watch a movie tonight. And I said, yeah, Ava, we gonna do it. And then I end up staying at work too late. And by that time I get home, she's in bed. And the next morning she gets up frustrated with me. So to the point I was making was like, I can't work late. I can, but at the end of the day, I understand like what that's going to do at home. So I don't, right? So if I need to work late, I go home and I spend time with the kids and try to get that work done. But I'm not a night working person, so it makes it hard.
Nah, for sure it makes it hard. For you personally, how does it feel when like you are at the office and you have a decision to make where I want to work late, but I'm not going to work late and I got to go home? How does that, I'm sorry, let me ask a better question. How do you determine how you're going to make a sacrifice, whether you're going to work late or whether or not you're going to go home and be a dad?
That's a great question. The way I do it depends on what needs to be done, right? I've learned that you need to know how to prioritize your work, right? There are pressing tasks that I need to get done, and I have to work late. If it's not a pressing task, if there's not a deadline that requires me to stay late, I'm gonna go home and be a dad. And that's something that I had to learn because before everything was always pressing. But then I seen how me staying late all the time affected my house, right? Because I feel like as a man, I run my house. You control the energy in your house as a man. So the energy was off in my house because of me, right? Whether you there, you not there. So that's one of the things that I learned. But if it's not pressing and I ain't got no deadline, I'm going home.
So how you said you working late sometimes that affected your house. Let's give the listeners more detail behind that. How did that affect your house?
Just the energy was off. Just like the energy was off. Oh. You can feel it. The girls are moody. The girls are upset. You know, we're not having a good time. We're not talking how we usually talk. You could just feel it. Then you walk into it and you just feel it. You know, the girls with women it's easy because they emotions show. So I got all girls in my house. I'm the only man, so I can see the emotions When I come home, I can see them fighting and going back and forth with each other. When I'm home, I'm the head of my house. I bring the peace.
Do you have any regrets now being 14, 15 years an entrepreneur, being a parent for the last 9 years? Do you have any regrets about any of the sacrifices you made towards one or the other?
No, because I think both understand the value that each other plays, if that makes sense. So the business understand the values that my family provides me, the value that my family provides me. It makes me push harder so I can grow the business. And for the kids and my family understands that the business provides us with this lifestyle. So I don't regret any decisions. And then also, I've always been where the kids needed me to be. I've never missed a recital. I've never missed a graduation. I've been at every field. I'm the only guy at field days. I've been at all those events. Right? There are certain things that I do miss. I don't miss anything. But for them, they understand if daddy has to work, if daddy has to do something, I'm slowly helping them to understand, like, this is for the benefit of all of us. And like one thing that I've learned is just I need to be a better communicator. So I communicate more with them and help them understand what's going on. So
you said that you've never missed anything. Here's a question for you. Putting your back against the wall, you got an opportunity. You got one shot to close $1 million deal or go to Ava's tennis match that is every single month. She has one tennis match. Which one you doing?
I'll talk to Ava about it first and just see how she would feel. But if there's a high probability that I can close $1 million, and for where I am right now in my life, I'm going to get that $1 million deal, because that $1 million deal would better my environment. It would better Ava's environment. It would give Ava more opportunities. I can get her more tennis lessons. I can make sure that she has the best education, the best tutor, so on and so forth. So again, I'll speak to her first and see how she feels about it. But more than likely, and I'm gonna break it down to her, help her understand why I want to make this decision. But I'm gonna go get that deal done for my family, for where I am right now in my life.
So are you saying that it's okay to put business over family?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if there's an opportunity that can change the trajectory of my family, I will be a fool not to take on that opportunity for my family. Because it's going to put us, for right now, where I am right now, $1 million a deal cash to me, I could do with $1 million right now, and how I can move that money around, so I could put me and my family in a better position, so it can allow me to spend more time with my family. Do that deal all day.
So one of the things that we talked about that I want to bring up in our production meeting was how me and you both missed the early years of our kids' life. So to give you guys some context, this is Jerm talking. My daughter Journey, I missed the entire first year of her life. Missed it meaning I thought I had more time. I thought that time was on my side. I thought that, I'll be able to make this up. And the reason why I missed it is because during the first year of her life, all I did was work. All day, like literally all day. I worked as if I didn't have a kid. And I remember moments when my wife would tell me, she was my girlfriend then, my wife now, she would tell me like, Germ, you're missing her life and you don't see it. At the time, I was just so focused, so locked in and saying, you know what, I got to get it. And I think back and I ask myself, like, I don't remember having that moment of, oh man, baby girl is crawling now. Oh man, baby girl is walking now. Oh man, baby girl said her first word. I just don't even remember that. And the reason why that sticks out to me is because now I have a son who's, my Journey's 5 now, Ace is 2, so they're 3 years apart. I have more experience now. And with Ace, because of my experience with Journey and missing out on the first years of life, I'm seeing him grow up before my eyes and seeing him learn how to walk, seeing him being there for all those critical moments, right? And I'm like, dang, I didn't get this for Journey. And that made me realize, like, wow, like, once I started to realize that with Ace, I realized what Ash was telling me, which was way too late. And I missed the first year of her life, which is something that I don't want to do for any future kids that we have, or any or even my current kids. So
y'all pregnant?
Nigga
said you said like about me. Hold on, let me know now. We got a live announcement on the Exposing Trend podcast show. But back to the conversation. Do you regret it?
Yeah, I do. And I know people say, oh, you don't want to live with regrets, this and that. That's something that I can never get back. That's something that where like we don't even have a lot of pictures of Journey because I'm big on taking pictures. Ash is not really that big, so I don't even have really many baby pictures of Journey. And I look back and I say I will never be able to get that year back. All the business that I did, I could go and redo that over and over again because a lot of that time was messing up anyways. So yeah, I regret it.
But it was times messing up. But at the end of the day, you still have to provide for your family.
Yeah, but we got to provide for our family now. And the whole concept of this episode is to talk people through the struggle that they may be having, that we're going through. And we still provide for our family now, but we also spend time with them, like high quality time. So I wish I knew then what I knew now, which is to compartmentalize and put things in different slots. Work has a slot during my days now. Work is, for me, at this point, is from 9 to 6 most days if Journey doesn't have practice. And then after that, I go home and I be a dad. And then once she sleep, I get back to work some nights. And then on Saturday, I'm able to do certain things. So yes, I have to provide, but I think for me, and I struggle with this, what is my top priority? Obviously, God is number one, but I don't know right now in my life if business is 2 and family is 3, or business is 3 and family is 2. I don't know that right now in my life.
Wow, that's good. How do you feel about that though? Because sometimes how do you feel about that?
For me, it's tough because one of the things that I'm intentional about is if you're an older dad, I'm asking you for advice. I'm sitting down and I'm trying to understand your thought process. I'm trying to understand your experiences. I'm trying to live my life through older dads, like present dads, and that are also in business as well. So you're a dad and you also have a business, or you have multiple businesses, and you are where I want to be. And I ask every person in that situation, what's one piece of advice you would give me as a dad? And most people say the same thing. I wish I spent more time with my kids. And I asked them, what is more time? And nobody's ever really been able to give me that definite answer of 3.5 hours per day, and then half days on Saturday. That's the thing that I came up with. But nobody's ever been able to give me that definite answer of, I wish I did this more. I wish I did that more. It was just always, I wish I spent more time. So I don't know how to even put that in context and to have that apply to my life. That's something that I'm still trying to figure out. I do hope, I'll have it on my vision board where I can take Wednesdays off, Saturdays and Sundays off, and only work from 9 to 4. I have that on my vision board because I eventually do want to get to a point where I can spend way more time with the kids than I spend with them now.
Okay. Hey, just so y'all know, that Wednesday off ain't in our operating agreement. Most man gonna be here. Now I'm bland, but what's the biggest lesson? You've been a parent now for 5 years. What's the biggest lessons you've learned thus far?
The biggest lesson that I learned is that I got to be intentional. Like, this parenting thing is all about being intentional, meaning I have to be intentional when I impart wisdom on Journey and Ace. I have to turn everything into a lesson because being where I am in life now, I know that tomorrow is not promised. From you having a close call with your surgery, me in 8th grade having a gun pointed to my head, we take for granted waking up every single day. And I don't take that for granted anymore. And I'm like, you know what? I got to be intentional and make sure that I am not only intentional with my kids, but also in everything that I do. So that's the biggest lesson that I've learned as a parent. What about you?
That's good. The 2 biggest lessons I've learned as a parent is, number 1, helping my kids understand the importance of exposure, and then 2, giving them the gift of one, because those are 2 big top priorities for me. 1, the exposure is so important. Exposure truly leads to expansion. So my kids are now having experiences as kids that I had in my 20s, traveling to other places, seeing other cultures, creeds, other belief systems, creating their own belief system from the things that they've been exposed to. And then when I said the gift of want, is understanding that I truly believe that you and I on our way to doing dope shit. And with doing dope shit is going to allow us to create a lot of money, So I don't want to be the parent where I just give because I have it. I want them to learn how to work for things, because that's a fire that you and I have within us that makes us do what we do. That makes us get up and get after it, right? That want and that desire separates the good from the great, and I want them to be great. So those are the two lessons.
So if somebody's listening to this, and like I said, we are still going through this struggle, we're still trying to go and figure out this challenge that we have. If they're listening to this and they're going through the same thing, what would you advise them to do?
For me, I would just say, one, like you said, learn for me, it's just simply being able to prioritize your time. You got to know how to manage your time as well, right? You have to understand that, okay, when I'm home, I'm home, and be home. Leave work at work, put the phone down. That's the reason you and I both got second phones, because I put the work phone down, face down, and if the important people need to reach me, you can reach me. So, excuse me, understanding the importance of just separating and separate my time and managing my time. But same thing, for the audience, like managing their time.
Now that's truly something that's key, because another reason why I thought that 3.5 hours for journey Monday through Friday and that time was spent on the weekends, because for the most part, about 98.925% is quality. It ain't no phones involved. It ain't no scrolling on Instagram, because every time I go to her practices for gymnastics, every parent is on their phone. They not paying attention. And I tell Ash, I say I feel sorry for the kids growing up in this generation, because not only are they distracted with outside influences, their parents are distracted with outside influences as well. So for me, that's why I struggle with it, because when I'm home, I'm home. And that's something that I want to thank you for. When you told us, like when you said, man, we got to get this second phone, I was opposed to it. Like, we don't need no second phone. Like, I don't want to carry around no second phone. But that's helped me be able to become a better parent, because I'm able to give them quality and not so much of the quantity that I want to give. And my energy when I'm with them is much better because of that. So if you're listening to this, I would definitely advise you to really take a step back and analyze your life and really ask yourself, what don't you want out of life? Yeah. And the reason why I give the kids the time that I give them now, and I wish I could give them more, but the reason why I give them the time is because I sat back and I realized I don't want bad kids that are not good for society. I don't want lazy kids. I don't want kids that are lost. So when I decided what I don't want as far as my future and my kids' future, that's why I give them the quality of the time that I want. So if you listen to this, really sit down and ask yourself, what don't you want in your life and your business, and then start to prioritize your life around that. So,
hey guys, let me make one thing clear. Y'all don't need a second phone to be a good parent. It just helps us be better parents. And you don't need a second parent. Learn to focus. And then something that you said was, and that Ava checked me on. So I've been very intentional about this when she checked me. Whereas you at the gymnastic practice and all the other parents on their phone. And I used to be that parent when Ava went to tennis. The few times I did used to go, now I'm very consistent. Y'all know every Wednesday Ava's going to tennis unless, the practice was canceled. But it was a few times before that where the times I did go, I wasn't there. And she noticed it. I'm sitting there on my phone just doing my thing. And she, after practice, I'm like, oh, good job, Ava. You did so good. And she was like, Dad, you don't know. I said, what you mean, Ava? It's like you was on your phone the whole time. I'm like, damn. Boy, that broke my heart, because it's just like they pay attention to these things. And ever since then, like, I put my phone down. Sometimes I just leave it in the car. Like, it's only an hour. Let me give her an hour of my time. And ever since I've done that, like, her coach has told me, he was like, dude, I want you to start coming to more practices. I said, what's up? He was like, dude, when you come, Ava plays better. Ava's confidence is better. So for me, it's just like, now I'm intentional about being. I'm choking up right now, because like just to see the influence that I have on her and helping her become more confident and become a better player. So now I'm gonna make sure I'm at every tennis practice I could be at.
Got you. So guys, when we shoot these episodes, we always try to think about an outcome that we want you guys to have when you listen to these episodes. And the outcome today was really no outcome. It was really to help you understand that, we're going through some of the same struggles that you guys go through. Some of you guys put us up on pedestals, and I know that through DMs. Some of you guys see us as higher and better than you guys, and that's not the case at all. We struggle with the same thing that some of you guys struggle with, and this is a huge struggle for Josh and I. This is a huge challenge for us as we chase our dream and build businesses and build companies and get after the bag, but also be intentional and be there for our kids. So today we wanted you guys to understand that, man, we're going through the same thing that you guys are going through. We're just trying to figure this out as well. And this is something that you guys clearly heard from this episode that we have not figured out. So any last touching points?
Boss man, I ain't done. I don't know why you trying to wrap this up, my man.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
You trying to wrap the show up.
You ain't been talking to add no value, so I don't know.
No, one thing that I thought about from the business perspective though, like, do you ever feel guilty for working so much?
No, I don't. Ash, we had a conversation about this, and I don't feel guilty for working as much as I do because, like I said earlier, the kids came into my life. And I've made that decision. I understand that they came into my life. And in order for me to be who I need to be, I need to continue to do certain things that are a high priority and very important to me. Number one, being a provider. For me, that's my ultimate job. I need to provide for my wife, and I need to provide for my kids. And that comes with sacrifice, getting it out the mud, how we getting it out the mud. So I don't feel guilty at all. What about you?
Number one, hey, y'all heard that clip. That's going to be on the Shade Room. We need that clip on the Shade Room. The one where my kids came into my life. You know how they ask the question, what y'all think about this? They want the feedback. But for me, I don't feel guilty either. I used to, but then I start understanding what does my business brings value to my family, a lot of value. Right. And I help the kids understand the value that the business brings. I'm like, we don't have a lot of worries that a lot of other people have. I'm thankful that we can live this lifestyle. So for me, the business provides me the opportunity to raise them better than what we were raised. Like Mom did a great job. She did the best with what she had was 5 kids and she was a single mom. But as I look back on it, like I felt we were so far behind because we didn't have those early experiences. We didn't have those early exposure moments. The business allows me to expose my kids. That's one of the greatest gifts I can give them is exposure. Go see new things. Go travel the world. Let's go on trips. I told the kids moving forward, no more birthday parties. We're going on a birthday trip. Right now it's with limits. We can't. Malia want to go to Japan. I don't got Japan money just yet. But we're gonna do something here in the U.S. or we're gonna do something in the island or maybe even in Europe. But that's what I want to give them.
So one of the things that you taught me about was, and why I don't feel guilty and how I say it to the kids, and kudos to you for this, was I'm not working, I'm chasing my dream. And we had a very real conversation with our old property manager, and he asked me, he said, man, is this all worth it? Like, you go through a lot, because he was managing our properties. He saw the money he was making, but he also saw the headaches that we had to deal with to make the money that we was making. And he's like, bro, is it worth it to you? Like, you guys work a lot. You guys go through a lot. And for me, my kids get to see me at all the soccer practices. They get to see me there. They get to see me pick them up from school, drop them off, and always be there. And I said, bro, what I've realized in my life is I'm living the purpose that God has intended for me. I'm living with purpose. And I don't know about you, but my purpose is to impact lives, to change lives, and to show my kids that if you put your mind to it, you can go and do it. I truly believe that's part of the purpose that the good Lord has for me. And I said, bro, I think one of the greatest gifts that I could give my kids is that they see their old boy, their dad, chasing his dream and doing everything possible to make it happen while still being there as much as he could be there. So, yes, I wish I can be there as much as you are for your kids, because he's a great dad. But I also said to him, I said, bro, like, what are you giving your kids? Are you telling your kids that it's okay to settle in life? That's something that you got to think about. That's something that you need to be asking yourself. And for me, I'm showing my kids, like, if if Jeff Bezos can create $100 billion company, Robert Smith from Vista Equity Partners can sell his company for $5 billion, your old boy can do the same thing, and that's what your old boy will do. So that was a great conversation that we had because he really challenged me on a lot of things. He helped put a lot of things into perspective for me. So for me, I feel great that I work as much as I do, and I feel great that I can show my kids that I'm chasing my dream and I'm not gonna stop.
Right. I love it. Like you said, we said all the time, like the greatest gift you could give them is, chasing your dream. And I say that, I tell people all the time, one of the biggest forms of child neglect as a parent is you not chasing your dreams. You want your kids to see that. You want your kids to be exposed to that so that as they grow older, they can go out and chase their dreams and make their dreams a reality so that they're not struggling. Because a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. A lot of people are living average or below average lives simply because they're not chasing their dreams. For me, I don't regret anything that we've done. I don't regret anything that we've been through. Sometimes business be businessing, as they say. But at the end of the day, like, it's all worth it. We're growing, we're learning, and then just showing the kids, like, man, my daddy's them doing some dope shit. My uncle doing some dope shit.
Now, what I'm excited about is that they able to get the head start that we wasn't afforded. That they gonna be able to start businesses and do things in their lives, and they got somebody that they can pick up the phone and know that we have their best interest, their genuine interest at heart when we tell them whatever we tell them. Because for us, we getting out the mud, we figuring things out. Where yes, we have a lot of people that help us, we have a lot of mentors, but they ain't my daddy.
Ain't no safety net.
And ain't no safety net. So yeah, I'm just I really. Well, you got anything else you need to say, my boy? That's it.
I'm done now.
You done? Oh, okay. So man, guys, this has been a great episode, exposing you guys to the struggles and the challenges that we're currently going through. I hope you guys got a lot of breakthroughs. We covered a lot, and guys, make sure that you send us a DM if you got any questions about anything that we talked about. Because for me, if you listen to this episode and you got way more questions, shoot us a DM. Because I want to help you go through your challenge. I mean, whatever challenge and struggle that you're going through as far as parenting 2 kids, your business and your kids. As always, guys, we have our gentleman's agreement. Our gentleman's agreement is if you're listening on YouTube, go subscribe, click that subscribe button and leave a comment. And if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, the audio version, click that follow button and leave us a 5-star review and leave us a comment. We read all of the comments, whether they're on YouTube or whether they're on Apple, Spotify, one of the podcast players. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. We truly, truly appreciate it. And we hope that you guys got the breakthrough that we set out when we talked about this episode. So expose and expand. Peace.
Expose and expand. Peace.